Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and today I'm gonna have to make a bit of a rant video as much as I don't want to. Usually I ignore stuff like this and just shrug it off and never mention it, and it works, and that's what most YouTubers do when stupid shit comes up, but, sometimes you have to respond to it, unfortunately. Namely, as you can tell by the title, hopefully, apparently, according to some, you are racist for playing a particular type of video game, or a particular nation within a video game, or, just playing a game in a certain way, or playing a game, and, any specific game that they like or do not like, makes you racist. I'll explain. So this is not something that just happened, to me once, and, one person pissed me off, and I'm gonna go on a rant about it. No. The reason I'm making this video is because it happened several times over the course of the last I think over the last 2 weeks or something, and, it needs a response as much as I don't wish to give it one. Namely, a good friend of mine, by the name of Command Delicious. I did a co-op Let's Play with him, and I'm still doing it, in fact, on Stellaris. You can check that out if you want to. Side note, but he's a good friend of mine, and I've known him for a while. On one of his videos, one of his very old videos, a person commented on why he played a particular nation in Europa Universalis 4. Now, I'm not going to give you the link to the video, I'm not going to show you the comment, I'm not going to tell you who did it. To avoid witch hunting, I'll touch on this subject at the end of the video, but a response was given to him because valid gameplay reasons. Basically, he said, because I really love the ideas that this particular nation gets. The ideas, by the way, for those of you that don't play EU4, is basically certain buffs that the country gets for certain things that it does as... I'm trying to simplify it as much as I can, but yeah, it's essentially that. And he said, I really like the ideas that it gets, I really like these buffs, and at the time, they were really overpowered. And they were. Fair enough, at the time, these buffs were ridiculously overpowered. I think since they were nerfed, but, regardless. To which this person replied, oh, by the way, did you know that the religion of Bosnia at the time was not Orthodox, it was the Bosnian Church. Oh, okay. Yes, I've read something about this, but not everything is absolutely accurately represented in the game. Now here's the thing, about that entire thing, was it or was it not? Is this true or not? It depends on who you ask, and that's even a bigger problem. Like, if you ask the Patriarch of Moscow, the head of the Russian Orthodox Church, he will say that that is canon. And I wanted to use a different expression, but he probably wouldn't. So let's keep this Peggy 12, I believe. He said he would say that that's absolute canon, but even if this was historical fact, which again depends on who you ask, I'm going to refrain from comment because it really doesn't matter for this video or anything in particular. But he said, not everything is accurately represented. And you shouldn't, worry about this too much. It's a game. They don't represent everything completely accurate. They sacrifice certain things for gameplay, which pretty much every single game ever made does. He also gave an example for this. He went one step further in being a rational person, if you will. He said, the town that I'm in, the town that I live in right now, at the time period played in EU4, was, the culture was Westphalian, right? I believe that's how you pronounce it. But in the game, I'm Saxon now, apparently, which, I'm completely fine with. It's not 100% accurate. They may change it at one point, they may not, stuff like that. It doesn't exactly matter. It's just a bloody video game, right? The reply? What? Question mark. What? Question mark. Huh? Question mark. That's racist! Exclamation point. You're a racist. And stuff like this you just shrug off. This person clearly either does not understand English or is literally a moron. A combination of the two is equally possible. And you just shrug this stuff off, but recently it's become somewhat of a... how do I put this? A common thing, as much as it saddens me to say. You get called out for being a racist for the most mundane shit. I said I wouldn't swear, but there goes that down the drain, right? Another example I'll give you, one of my videos, and again, I won't tell which one, but I've played, again, a certain nation in a certain video game. And what I said... actually, let's take Civ 5, for example, because Civ 5 usually does not involve politics whatsoever, or anything along the lines of... let's say I'm playing right now as Austria, and I tell you I'm going to attack well, I'm not going to attack Manila, because they're my ally. Okay, Venice. I'm going to attack Venice, and I'm an imperialist, and I'm going to attack Venice, and I'm going to gather up my armies, and imperialistically... no, that's not even a word. Imperialistically, yes, there we go. Imperialistically take over Venice and, rule over that land like a tyrant. Or alternatively, I can be a bit more mild and say, I'm going to liberate the people of Venice from their tyrannical Doge Enrico Dandolo, and I'm going to just take over Venice, and it's going to become a part of my glorious empire, and my soldiers will crush the enemy army, right? This is stuff that's going to happen in Civ 5. Exactly the same situation, a video from quite a while ago, but the comment is somewhat new. And this is what I said pretty much in the video. I'm going to take my armies, do this, and this is what is literally physically well, not physically because it's a virtual game, right? But this is what is literally going to happen in the game. Okay? This is literally happening in the game. I can't say it's not, because I would look like a douchebag, right? This is literally, again, I say physically, but this is happening in the game. This is what's happening on screen. You're looking at this. And I'm commenting on it. That's kind of what a Let's Play is, right? You comment on stuff, you make jokes, you entertain people while playing a game. Essentially. And talking about said game. This is what's happening on screen. I said that I'm going to imperialistically take over said nation. And this is what happened. 20 videos later of that Let's Play, this was happening. At no point have I ever mentioned historical fact. At no point ever have I mentioned anything remotely political about either the real world situation or get this, or the political situation at the time. What do I get? What is the number one criticism on that? Well, from this guy's perspective, what is the number one wrong thing in the entire video? Which I highly doubt he even watched. But hey, what's with all the racist speech, bro? Question mark. To which I replied, where exactly? What? What do you mean I'm not a racist. What racist speech? Where exactly do you mean? It's been 2 weeks and I've yet to receive a response. And again, it's a couple of isolated incidents. Stuff like this happens. It's the internet. People are douchebags on the internet all the time. You shouldn't, take it seriously at all. Yes, but the point of this video, the point of me making this video, is, apologies for the language, but shit like this happens way too often. Okay, shit like this happens way too bloody often. I've seen a video from Mr. Repsion recently as well, and he's getting called out for being a racist, for calling out another guy who said that a third guy was a racist, which he technically wasn't, even though he was a bit of a douche. yet still made some good points. It's an incredibly convoluted and complicated situation that I don't really want to get anyone else involved necessarily, but has the word racism started to lose its meaning? I mean, in both of these examples, I would ask the question, is this truly racism? Well, obviously not. It's a bloody fucking video game, right? I'm playing a video game and telling you what's happening on screen. I imagine that's why most of you are here, right? I'd certainly hope so. At this point, you say, no, we're here for the rant videos, sorry, but no. In all seriousness, though, this is just confusing to me. Has humanity forgotten the meaning of the word racism? Because even if I did make a somewhat, offensive comment at, even regarding to modern day politics or politics back then, or even if Command Delicious in his example or in his video, I suppose, not example, made an offensive comment towards a certain culture or a certain religion, it still wouldn't be racist. Right? Last time I remembered, a religious organization is not a race. This goes for the example of my example, it goes for the example of Repsion, it goes for Command Delicious example, and the thing is, this is why I'm making this video, this is happening way too fucking often. And it needs to be called out. Here's the thing, there's also another thing I want to talk about, slightly mention it. There's this entire new policy thing on YouTube, and you may or may not have heard of it. It's been in effect, for some time right now, but I wanted to mention it. It really doesn't affect my channel at all. As a matter of fact, if I think about it on a personal, greedy level, which I don't want, I don't want to take the conversation in that direction, but if I'm strictly looking after my own interests, my own personal interests, it actually benefits me somewhat. Not directly, but it kind of benefits me. What they did was make I dare say, very weird claim and very weird change to the entire what is offensive and what is not system, if you will. And what is legal and what is not on YouTube. And apparently now it's illegal to make videos criticizing other people. Hateful, negative videos criticizing other people. Can you look up the definition of hateful, negative criticizing versus regular criticizing versus, I guess, aggressive criticizing? No, there isn't one. I mean, there isn't a strict definition of which is which. You're just sort of going based off of what you think subjectively is one or the other. So the entire idea of objectivity in this thing is gone straight out the window, but thing is, I never really made any hate videos or any calling out for witch hunting or whatever in any video, so it doesn't really impact me at all. What it does is it makes sure that if someone at one point in their life, for God knows what reason, decides to make a video trolling me or just, anything really obnoxiously offensive that doesn't have anything to do with criticism, his video can get taken down and he can get a copyright strike. Or I guess policy violation strike, but it's basically the same thing, right? Which is okay. It's fine. For me personally, again, some people are really against it, and I understand because it's not clear what is defined by this. It's really, I don't know what I'm not allowed to do now. It's just, it needs clarification, obviously, which I think we will get eventually, but, back to my original point. This is a good idea, at least. It's a good idea to remove trolls and haters from just spreading toxicity around the internet, okay? But YouTube have clearly stated, and they admit that they have a problem with these haters. They have a problem with people like this, and they can't deal with it. They really can't, and I understand why. I think we all understand why. There's many of them, And it's difficult to deal with people like this, and yes, okay, fair enough, it is. But stuff like this needs to be called out, and the reason I'm making this is it's happening more and more. Words have begun to lose their meaning, and I understand, maybe I'm preaching to the choir here a little bit, yes. But people have started just saying the most ridiculous shit as something falls from my table. You know, truth right there. But this stuff needs to stop, and I have no illusions that it's going to stop overnight, and it's going to be dealt with overnight. I understand. But still, it is just spreading toxicity, and it needs to be called out. Especially when it's happening en masse, as it kind of is right now. I mean, I've had death threats on YouTube. People get death threats all the time, especially YouTubers. I had death threats before I started doing YouTube and making YouTube videos, and perhaps rather ironically, since I've started, I've had a lot less of this, mainly because I avoided any and all touchy subjects. But I've been threatened on one occasion by what I believe is literally ISIS. And stuff like this is I don't want to sound particularly, negative about the entire situation, but stuff like this I expect to happen. It's the internet, again, it's anonymity, you do and say whatever the hell you want with practically no repercussions and no consequences. And okay, I understand how this would encourage people to do and say stuff like that. Fair enough, but it's getting worse. It really is. It's getting worse, and I don't want it to get worse. I guess that's the reason why I'm making this video. Stuff like this just needs to be called out, and as much as some of us don't want to do it, it just has to happen in order to I guess, do this website a favor, and then I guess in some just this completely futile attempt try to improve this website and to get rid of this, which again I have no illusions that this will happen at all, really. I can hope, but stop it for another time. But with that said, there's more examples as well. There's more examples of this, and I just want to, bring attention to this stupidity. And here's the thing, if you think someone was being racist, if you genuinely believe someone was being negative, hateful, racist towards something, it's okay to call that person out and say, "Oi, you've done this video, you creator of this video, you've done what I believe is something incredibly stupid, negative, hateful, racist, whatever." You do get to call him out and, I guess, challenge him in a way, and yeah, sure, give him hate for that, But it's stuff like this, the example that I just mentioned, that are just obnoxious, absolutely just ridiculous, and stuff that I genuinely do not understand, that I have a problem with, and I just wanted to call that out, and I really didn't want to make this video, but sometimes you really, you always have a choice, but sometimes you really have to, as much as your better judgment might tell you otherwise. Stuff like this just deserves to be called out and hated on, like so, I suppose. But, well, that said, pretty much I believe this is the end of the video, and this is everything that I have to say to you guys regarding this subject. If you have any questions, of course, go ahead and tell me down in the comments below. Anything really, any comment that you have regarding this entire situation. I'd love to hear from you. I absolutely would love to hear from you guys. And should mention at the end that the game in the background has been Civilization 5 with the Superpower mod, and also a disclaimer towards the end. I do not encourage in any way, shape, or form witch hunting and, finding these people and sending them any types of messages, be it threats, be it emails, be it, just hate, just whatever. I absolutely do not encourage this for these people that I've talked, which is why I will not give any links down in the description below and will not specifically tell you which videos this happened on. Because I don't want the responsibility of someone. And I know I have a small audience. I have no delusions about this. I understand this, and I know that the chances of one of you getting this idea of sending a death threat to someone out there just based on this video are 1 in a billion, probably. But I do not want that responsibility, and I know that some people, even if sometimes they mean well, they will write some stuff that should never be written and make death threats or just any threats really generally to people like this, and I don't want the responsibility of something like that. So yeah, I absolutely do not encourage you to go out and do something like that to these people and find these people, because I sure as hell won't make your job easier if that's what you want to do, I suppose. But yeah, as always, thank you very much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe down below if you enjoyed, well, not exactly enjoyed this video, but if you want to support the channel, definitively, and check out some of the other content I produce that is not a rant video. I mostly do gaming stuff and Let's Plays and stuff like that, so yeah. Until next time, take care, and bye-bye.